I'm Caleb, Natty Bumpo, aka Hawkeye, and I did my book on Last of the Mohicans by James Fenimore Cooper. The genre is historical fiction and adventure during the French and Indian War. James Fenimore Cooper was an early American settler himself, so he thought on his memories as a child on the frontier as he wrote about the main character, Hawkeye. He also wanted you to feel that there wasn't anything racial between the native tribes and the white people. He also wanted you to know about the dangers of war and describes it in depth. The characters. Hawkeye is the main character. His real name is Natty Bumpo, and he's a frontier hero, a great hunter and scout. Chingachgook is the lifelong friend of Hawkeye, and he's known as the Great Snake. Uncas is the son of Chingachgook, and he's also the youngest and last member of the Mohicans. Magua is the evil Indian villain. Duncan Hayward is a major in the English Army who was appointed by General Monroe to guard Cora and Alice. And he's not experienced with fighting any Indians. Cora is the oldest and darker of the sisters. Cora's half-sister, Alice, is the younger of the two. Now we'll begin the summary. The story starts off on a trail, and General Monroe has appointed Duncan Hayward to guard and protect Alice and Cora. As he's leading them on this trail, Magua, the evil Indian, is leading them to the fort. He decides to take a shortcut and lead them into a trap full of Huron Indians. As the Huron Indians jump the British soldiers, Hawkeye and the two Mohicans, Chingachgook and Uncas, jump in to save them. And I'm sure as all this is happening, Hawkeye is thinking, that dirty fat Indian coward. As they're fighting, all the British soldiers and Huron Indians die, except Magua escapes, and Duncan Hayward, Alice, Cora, and Gamut are saved by Hawkeye and the two Mohicans. As they're escaping, they decide to hide by a nearby waterfall. And the next morning, Magua comes in with a new group of Huron Indians and captures Duncan, the two girls, and Gamut. But Hawkeye and the two Mohicans escape down the river. As they're on their way back to their village, Magua reveals that he is seeking revenge on General Monroe, who has embarrassed him in the past. So he offers to let Alice go if Cora will marry him. Cora's in love with Uncas, the younger of the Mohicans, so she denies to marry Magua. While this is all going on, Hawkeye and the two Mohicans show up to save the group, and they kill all the Indians except Magua escapes again. As they are all heading back to the fort, once they get there, they greet General Monroe, Cora and Alice's father, while the French are attacking the fort. General Monroe learns that he's not going to receive any reinforcements from General Webb, so he is forced to surrender the fort. As he surrenders the fort, the whole group of British soldiers have to leave, and on their way back, they're jumped by another group of Huron Indians who are allies of the French. As this battle is going on, Magua captures Alice, Cora, and Gamut and escapes. On their way back to the Huron village, Hawkeye, the two Mohicans, Duncan, and General Monroe are on their way to save all of them. Gamut finds a way to escape Magua, and as he reaches the group, he reveals that Alice is being held at a Delaware camp, and Cora is being held at a Huron camp. So they decide to disguise themselves to save the girls. They succeed in saving Alice, and on their way to save Cora, Uncas reveals that he has received an inheritance from one of his ancestors. So he demands that Magua releases all of their friends. So after Magua releases all of their friends, Uncas accepts that Cora belongs to Magua, and Magua leaves with Cora back up the mountain. While he's heading up the mountain, Hawkeye and the two Indians, Duncan, Gamut, and General Monroe and Alice are headed up to save Cora. And that's how the chase begins. Now I'll go over the themes. Non-racial love and friendship. The novel is about different types of races having difficulty and conquering racial boundaries. The author gives many examples on how relationships can be inspiring and dangerous. One example of non-racial and friendship. Cooper speaks highly of the sincere, long-time relationship between Hawkeye, which is a white man, and Chingachgook, which is a Mohican Indian. Another example of the danger. Cooper also shows the dangerous part of mixed race romances that can be unpleasant, like the love between Uncas and Cora that ends in tragedy, as Uncas is trying to save Cora. Another theme example, a refined idea of family. Although Uncas' real father, Chingachgook, vanishes in the middle of the story, Hawkeye fills in as a father figure to him, and they become like family. Now we'll go over the symbols. The title, Last of the Mohicans, is the symbol with Uncas dying. It is the end of the Indian tribe Mohicans. Hawkeye's name is the symbol of his precise skill using his rifle. Hawkeye's rifle, Kill Deer, was a symbol for him using it to hunt and kill for food and protection. Now I reach the imagery. Here's a quote. They complied without hesitation, though many a fearful and anxious glance was thrown behind them toward the thickening gloom which now lay like a dark barrier along the margin of the stream. And you see the empty darkness in that. You feel fear and horror. Here's another quote. The alarmed colonists believed that the yells of the savages mingled with every fitful gust of wind that issued from the interminable forests of the west. A place you would be afraid to be in, feeling scared being in an endless forest with violent, fierce natives trying to kill you. Here's the tone, another quote. Even their own kind seem no more than beasts of the wood. This sets a mood of hatred and anger, or racism. This tone sets the mood. In a previous quote, it sets the tone of fear and darkness. The motifs. Hybridity is a cross between two separate races or cultures. Here's an example. Cora was mixed because her mother was black and her father was white. And Hawkeye was born as a white man, but grew up and lived like an Indian Mohican. Now I'll go over the plot structure. 3 basic acts. 2 ladies, Cora and Alice, are escorted by Hawkeye, Chingachgook, and Uncas and Duncan to reunite with their father at Fort William Henry. Thinking they were safe in a cave by a waterfall, unfortunately, they were attacked and Cora and Alice were taken by the evil Magua. Hawkeye shoots Magua and he falls to his death. Cora and Uncas both die. And Chingachgook declares on top of the mountain as the last of the Mohicans. The end.